Boys and girls, good morning. Welcome back to the Chelsea Godfather channel. My fellow Chelsea brethren, welcome back. Today's news, number one on the news is the, seemingly almost guaranteed exit of none other than Captain America himself, Christian Pulisic, moving from London to Milan to go ply his trade for AC Milan. Tweets, today are pretty much, it's almost like everybody has a tweet. The idea, reports are that, Pulisic is going to be rolling out for a fee somewhere in between 15 million to 20 million pounds. I mean, that's if you ask me, 15 million pounds for Pulisic is low. That's a low number. I mean, the number better be closer to 20 million pounds. I mean, I believe Pulisic should have around what does he have? A couple years left, or about a year and a half. I mean, he might have a year and a half left, either a year and a half left or a couple years left, because I remember that he was bought like in the January window and then loaned back to Dortmund. So not sure how what his original contract length was, whether it was for 5 years or 5.5 years. It was for 5 years, then he only has about 18 months left, which in which case it would kind of make sense that his market value is going to be lower. And especially when you look at Pulisic's overall stats since joining Chelsea, he's made 145 appearances and scored 26 goals at Chelsea, and that's not too much. In other words, that is not too far off what he did at Dortmund. At Dortmund, he made 127 appearances and scored 19 goals. Guys, I mean, the productivity, level in comparison to the expectation of the player just simply just doesn't match. It just does not meet up. The player has not met up the lofty expectations. I believe his original transfer fee from Dortmund was somewhere in the region of 50 million pounds. So as y'all can see, the productivity just has not met up the with the expectation of the player. And in fairness to Pulisic, it's not for lack of trying. When he arrived, his first season at Chelsea was the 2019-2020 season under Frank Lampard. If you all recall, it was a little while before Frank decided to give him a chance. At the time, the American media was kind of criticizing Frank for having a British bias and wanted to play only his Chelsea academy boys. But I remember it was a game against Burnley away. I believe it was an away game, a road game against Burnley, where Frank finally gave Pulisic his first start in a Premier League against Burnley away, and I believe Pulisic scored. I know he scored a hat trick, but if memory serves me right, I may be wrong, but I think he may have even scored 4 goals in that game. But he had such a fantastic game. Yeah, on that day I believe he had a perfect hat trick on that day, and may have scored a total of 4 goals. Chelsea scored like six. I think we won like 6-1 or 6-2. I can't remember the final score. And the rest was history in terms of onwards and upwards for Pulisic. In that season under Frank Lampard, he was rolling. He was just kept either scoring or assisting. For the next 5 or 6 games, he was just like literally on fire. Pretty much giving us um, sort of hopes that he may be a perfect replacement for, or at least as close as possible a replacement for Eden Hazard. Obviously, there's nobody going to match up with Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard is in his prime he was different level, right? So, but he wasn't human. Eden Hazard in his prime. So, but Pulisic was productive. He was like just very very positive in his play. That's one thing I loved about Pulisic in his first season under Frank Lampard. Very positive, very intentional in his play, in his dribbling, just direct. He'll take the ball, run at you, dribble at you, take it to your left, take it to your right. He could score on either side, left foot, right foot. The guy was fire. He was on fire for real. I mean, Pulisic was something else. But of course, you all are wondering if all that happened, then why the heck are we here? How did we get here? Well, we got here due to injuries. Fortunately, because even in that season, just as he was playing well, as he seemed like he was about to take his game to a world class level, boom, then he got knocked out by long term injury that pretty much would have knocked him out for the rest of the season had it not been for COVID, right? So COVID happened in 2020, and then the league was shut down for like a couple months, and then they now made the decision to reopen the league, I believe sometime in July or August, and that was enough time for Pulisic to heal up under what has been famously termed as a Project Restart. Pulisic came back on fire, and you all remember that massive assist that he delivered to uh, Tammy Abraham in at Anfield, and just so many other things. So I mean, we were looking forward to Pulisic to just really, I mean, taking his game to the next level. I mean, me myself as a guy, as a Chelsea diehard that's based in the U.S. I mean, I just went on ahead and I was just so sure that Pulisic was just going to be, next level. I went ahead and got me a brand new Chelsea jersey and slapped Pulisic's name and his number 10 on the back of it. I mean, I even still have it. And yeah, and then what happened was, um, obviously we finished fourth that season under Frank Lampard. Unexpectedly, we finished fourth because we weren't expected to finish fourth. The way things, were looking going into the season. And so in the off season, Roma spent like about a couple hundred million, brought in Kai Havertz, Werner, Ziyech, Chilwell. I mean a whole bunch of chaps, and I think that's is part of what may have Pulisic kind of got lost in the shuffle of all these new players that came in. He got lost in the shuffle. Lampard got lost in the shuffle. The whole game plan, the fluidity of our attack, everything eventually ground down. Pulisic's injuries, came back again, on and off injured, and by the time you knew what was happening, Lampard was leading us back down to 10th place, and he paid for it with his job. Tuchel came in, and Pulisic pretty much became a bench player, and of course his injuries never ceased. It just kept going in and out, in and out. He'd be out for like a couple of months, come back for like for like 3 or 4 weeks, then he will go out for another couple of months. And guys, that's in a nutshell the story of Pulisic and how he's found himself on the chopping block as surplus to requirements. So we wish him well. I mean, I certainly wish Christian Pulisic well. I mean, it even affected his performance on the U.S. men's national team, which obviously follow. Again, I mean, I'm based in U.S. So I mean, I'm gonna hold down the U.S. National team at all times, and you know, I mean, affected Pulisic. I think he may have even lost his captain's armband to, I think, Tyler Adams and so on and so forth. It's just a long story. So, guys, we wish him well. We hope that the transfer fee is closer to £20 million, which is pretty much what Chelsea is asking for. Chelsea is asking for €25 million fee. And so that's it. I mean, I think they both sides are agreed on personal terms. Pulisic is willing to take a sizable pay cut to make this deal happen. He's still just, I think, 24 years old. Still 24, 25. He's like young. I think he's 24. So he's still young. I mean, he still has a lot to play for. So I mean, I'm wishing Pulisic well. I'm definitely going to be rooting for Pulisic and rooting for AC Milan as my Italian club. I mean, just simply for the fact that we have a lot of Chelsea players there. I mean, I want to see AC Milan do well. They have Loftus-Cheek. They're going to be getting Pulisic. They already have Giroud. Obviously, they got Tomori. I'm sure that there's probably one or two other guys that I'm missing. But yeah, I mean, I'm wishing. I hope AC Milan does well. On the flip side, I don't have any love for Inter Milan. On the flip side, I ain't got no love for Inter Milan. That's a good segue to the next player. The next player is Lukaku. Lukaku is the deal. He's that rash that you got, and you want that rash. The rash just keeps on itching you, and you want this rash to just go away, man, for real. But this rash is not going away, and that will be the Romelu Lukaku / Inter Milan ordeal, right? As it turns out, the Inter Milan owner, MAROTTA, came out on today and just talking all sorts of nonsense. Talking about that we hear that Bowley is asking for 50 million for is asking for 50 million euros for Lukaku. That the fact that a Saudi club is offering 50 million euros for a player that we paid 115 million euros for, that should tell us the real value of the player. I mean, what arrant nonsense. How can this guy, he's literally mocking us. He's the guy basically called it a bull. It's not really, in fairness to Bowley, it wasn't Bowley that did the deal. The deal was done by Roman. So he's pretty much calling Roman a clown for being mugged out of 150 million for a player that he in his eyes is worth less than 50. And I say less than 50 because Morata is only willing to pay 25 to 30 million euros to buy back Lukaku to Inter Milan on a permanent, which is just nonsense. Like, how are you going to take 115 million euros from us only just a couple years ago, and then you're going to try and get him back for like 25 million after we had to pay his half of his wages for like a year, and you only gave us like 8 million. That's just nonsense. So I mean, my thing is, Mr. Bowley, if you guys are listening, Ebali, if you all are listening, please shine your eyes, as they say in Nigeria. Shine your eyes very well and listen. do not under any circumstance do this Lukaku deal with Inter Milan. It's better for us, for principle's sake. It's better. It's better for Lukaku to basically waste away in the under 21 reserves, since he doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. I'm playing against the likes of Kante and Benzema and Koulibaly and all these other chaps, Neves, Ruben Neves, and a whole bunch of top players that they have been signing. Since he doesn't want to do that, then just we're not going to give him to Inter Milan for like a bag of chips. That's the last thing that should happen. In the alternative, if there's any deal to be done, it has to be a player swap deal. With another club, not Inter, or even with Inter, but it has to be, in a deal that meets our valuation. So, for instance, since we have it valued at 50, and Inter has their goalie valued at 50, player for player even swap. If you don't want to do the deal, as they say back in Niger, my guy, carry go. Okay, guys, how do you all feel about this? Please make your views be known below. Take care. God bless you all. Peace and love.